Hi, I'm Ami Devereaux. I ran across this really interesting linguistic thing. In the Turkish language and also in the Estonian language, they have a particular case or a tense. I'm not sure which it is. Anyway, it's a suffix and it's called the inferential mood in Turkish. And what it does is it adds uncertainty. So it requires you, whenever you're about to make a particular statement, to apply this modifier that says what I'm about to say or what I'm about to ask demands or is subjective. It's not a fact. It's not a sure thing. I wasn't an eyewitness and I can't swear that I'm telling you the facts and only the facts, ma'am. Instead, it's conditional. So it would be used in a lot of different settings. For example, you might use it when you tell a fairy tale or a joke, or you might use it to ask a young person what they want to be when they grow up or graduate college. In other words, you use it in scenarios in which there is no certainty. It's both subjective and uncertain. This really got me to thinking about all the scenarios in which I say things like they're certain. And not just me, but my clients, the businesses that I consult to, and the people that I coach. I was thinking about one particular client of mine. He runs a very, very big function within a high growth tech startup, and he wanted to have a strategic offsite with his team. And I asked him what he wanted to accomplish and exactly what the goal was that he wanted to succeed in strategizing. And as he began to sort of describe it to me, I realized that he already had decided what the strategy was. There was no room for the team to question his decision or to do a root cause analysis or to collect more information and figure out whether his solution was the right one. In point of fact, all he really wanted them to do was brainstorm the best way to execute his idea, his strategy in a few different ways. But he was so certain that what he was proposing was not, in fact, a strategy, but a problem statement that he could not get my point. Now, it took about an hour on the phone, and eventually we both got to the same page. But we do this all the time. And I see it mostly in planning. We assume that a strategy, or what we are calling a strategy, which is oftentimes little more than a way to get more sales or a way to get more revenue. And it's usually just a bunch of tactics like get better SEO or have a better advertising campaign or get better salespeople. These kinds of things are not strategies. They are, in fact, tactics to execute against a strategy. A strategy, by definition, is hypothetical. So when you're trying to accomplish some kind of really big breakthrough result, you come up with a strategy in order to propose a plan of doing what would otherwise seem either really difficult or virtually impossible. And the plan has to take into account a variety of different phenomena, many of which you are equally uncertain about. But one thing's for absolute sure, once you have that strategy, the strategy itself is speculative. It's your very best idea for how to accomplish what you want to accomplish, but it is by no means a sure thing. And yet, after we create a strategy, or after we do whatever we do at a strategy offsite, we immediately create metrics and KPIs. And do you know what they measure? They measure the execution of the strategy. They never measure the strategy itself to find out whether it's valid. So we essentially jump to the conclusion that if we don't hit the KPIs, the fault resides with the team. The fault resides with the performance, not with the plan. And that is a fundamental breakdown in critical thinking. It's our failure to discern that the plan we put forth is not a sure thing. We do this in other areas of life. I don't know if you've ever been on Nextdoor, the hyper-local social network. Every time I go on there, I end up feeling my blood pressure rise to the point where I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a stroke. And I am not really somebody who's likely to have a stroke, but still, it gets me crazy because I see people post with absolute certainty really wild accusations of other people. There was a pedestrian on my property. He was casing my place. I'm positive of this. I want you to be careful because this guy's clearly casing the neighborhood. I don't know whether the guy's casing the neighborhood or he's lost or he's on drugs or he can't find his dog or he's at the wrong house or anything else. His Uber didn't come. But one thing's for sure, that person doesn't know that the house is being cased, and yet we say it as though it were. I wonder how much different life would be for all of us, those of us who speak English, I should say, if we were Turkish natives, if our first language demanded that we do an initial ascertainment of whether what we're about to say belongs in the inferential mood or the declarative mood, whether what I'm saying is a true eyewitness report or a statement of fact, or whether it's a hypothesis or an assumption or an inference. Wouldn't that be an interesting experiment? Well, I suggest that you consider undertaking that experiment in your own organization. Begin to do an interrogation of yourself, of your language and your thinking, and see if you can figure out the degree to which you've been conflating certainty for uncertainty. Because if you're anything like me, and I think I'm pretty normal, pretty ordinary, you may be doing it a lot. And if you're anything like my clients who are spectacularly smart, you're probably doing it a lot. But the opportunity for your organization is enormous if you can embed an embrace, a love, an honor for uncertainty, because it opens up the opportunity for forgiveness, for mistake making, for correction, and for testing theoretical plans in a way that allows the plan to be amended, not just the people. I hope this has been useful. Please subscribe to my channel or go to my website beyondbetter.io and subscribe to the newsletter, which has more information in it, more detail, citations, and so forth. I hope to see you soon. Bye.